Hello, Sports Recap fam. I'm here to talk to you about the Georgia Tech game last week and numbers you need to know about both that game last week and this game this week versus Virginia. First number you need to know is 48. That's the amount of points scored by our offense last week. They ran 89 plays. They had 579 yards of total offense. So our offense was cranking for the second straight week. Of course, our offense was keyed by number 12, Marquise Williams. His stat line goes 38 for 47, 390 yards, 4 touchdowns to 1 pick, 16 carries for 73 yards, and 1 rush touchdown. So he had a really great day out there. A lot of his throws were bubble screens, but a lot of it, he had a couple of really huge throws, like to the long touchdowns to Ryan Switzer and Matt Collins. He was making plays out there. And for the second straight game, we had only one quarterback. So we had more consistency, more rhythm, and our offense stayed hot. That was huge. Next number you need to know is 189. That is the amount of yards we had rushing. And I've always said that Fedora's offense is rush first. When the run game is going for Fedora, everything is going. And that's what happened Saturday. Because we were getting our runs through the middle. TJ Logan ran like a beast. Romar Morris was getting his. Chris Francis was out there. And we were running in the middle, and now we're hitting bubble screens on the outside, which that's a perimeter game, the extension of our run game, clicking on all cylinders. And for the offense, it's so much fun to watch when everything's clicking like that. Of course, GT is not that good defensively, but his offense was cranking on Notre Dame last week. And Notre Dame is not that bad of a defense. Clearly not as bad as we made them look last week. I think the key statistic for our offense is 10 for 15. That is our third down conversion rate against Georgia Tech. We were getting ourselves into very manageable third downs. We were avoiding third and longs. Because this offense is very rhythm-based. And if we get third and manageables, we stay on rhythm, and those are much more easier to convert than third and longs. Third and longs happen when we usually jump off the field because we don't have a lot of plays that the defense is not keyed in on, I guess, from a third and long standpoint. So that's what we have there. Offense played really well for the second straight week. Of course, they will be tested next week when they deal with the Virginia defense. Their front seven is amazing. Number you need to know about Virginia's defense is 25. They were 25th ranked defense in the land, 9th ranked rushing defense in the country. And they get a lot of takeaways. This defense carries their team. Their offense is a circus because their quarterbacks are switching in and out. Their offense is letting them down in games. Their defense is keeping them in games. So the key matchup coming into this next week will be UNC's offense versus Virginia's defense. Can we keep the rhythm going? We've shown we can score on a good defense in Notre Dame. We might be seeing a better defense in UVA. Will we step up to the plate? So, also, Virginia is tied for 4th in takeaways. They have 19 takeaways this season. So we need to take good care of the football. That should go without saying. Our defense is not that good all this year. And to me, that's a combination of kids and the coaches. I've said that for weeks. So just know what I'm saying when I say that. We got to make every possession count. We got to be very efficient. Every time we touch that ball, we need to get a touchdown. Scores, points every time. If this game turns into a shootout, unlike Georgia Tech, Virginia will not be able to keep up with us. Georgia Tech didn't want to play us in a shootout, but they clearly had the horses to keep it going. So their fans were proud of that. That was our tempo, and that's what we needed. That's what we wanted, and we won the game. Virginia, if that game gets into a shootout, Virginia's offense will not keep up. Last number you need to know, talking about our defense again, 611. That's the amount of yards they allowed against Georgia Tech last week. And boy, does that number feel deceiving to me. But 579 feels deceiving to me too. I know both offenses were doing amazing, but I didn't feel like we were warping up and down the field that fast. But clearly we have our defense. They didn't look good out there, but they made some plays. We got a couple key stops. One to prevent Georgia Tech from getting like a multiple possession lead on us, and another one to extend our lead to like 2 possessions by the end of the third quarter. And the irony here is, remember we gave it that reverse on 1st and 25 when Georgia Tech ran that reverse. The irony here is that if you replay that game over again, that was probably the best thing that happened for us. Because the last thing we wanted was Georgia Tech to run the football down our throats and run that clock out, and to give us no chance of winning this game. So we had 3 minutes, 7 seconds. I was concerned because usually our Georgia Tech games always end with PJ having some sort of magic and our offense all of a sudden just stop. Or our defense was, I don't know. Something always happens against Georgia Tech. But it didn't happen this week because our offense got on the field, they marched down the field, and they ran that clock out. TJ Logan scored the game-winning touchdown with 11 seconds left. So that was huge for us. This week, our defense will be playing a more conventional offense in Virginia. Like I said, their offense is pretty much a circus. I'm not expecting our defense to like go out there and just look like Ole Miss, but I want them to do better than they did against Georgia Tech. I'm not going to count Georgia Tech against them too much because we only see that offense once a year, and we'll have like 5 days or 6 days to prepare for it. So it's what the defense does this week, but of course our offense carries our defense. Don't forget that. So if our offense keeps going 3 and out this week, you know where the blame goes. All across the team, not just the defense. I feel like I'm missing one last thing I want to say to y'all. I'm forgetting it. So I'll talk to y'all later. I forgot it. I got it now. UVA is a 7-point favorite this week in Charlottesville. That's such a huge line. And maybe they know something we don't know. I know that their defense is really good, but being favored by 7 points, that's just a lot. That's a lot. And a lot of the sharps or the people who bet up UNC last week, because Georgia Tech was favored by 3 initially, and that line got bumped all the way up to UNC by 1 by the time kickoff happened. This line has not gotten the same amount of movement, but I think UNC can do better than losing by 7 at Charlottesville. That's just my opinion. I'm not taking a personal stance on these lines because UNC has broken my heart twice when I picked them in a line, but hopefully UNC goes up there and plays well. Go Hills.